Thank you very much, Professor, for having us here at the ECARF lab. So really appreciated for your invitation. Let's start straight away. In a couple of years, 128 million people in Europe might be suffering from a recurrent allergy. Is that correct?
That little? No, it's more.
It's more?
It's already more now.
Wow.
How many people are we in Europe? In Europe or European Union? Well, something like 500 million, and of course the UK is part of Europe, okay? So it's 550 million, and 1/3 of the population is already allergic.
Wow.
So it's already something like 180 million people in Europe suffering from some kind of allergy.
Well, that's very important, and thank you for clarifying. Based on this, I think what people really want to understand is what's the link between scalp care and allergy?
First of all, we have different kind of allergies. We've got these immediate type allergies like hay fever. You go to a cat, 5 minutes later you're sneezing. People like that, they also have sensitive skin very often also atopic eczema. And then we've got another kind of allergy which is called contact allergy, which is a late type, delayed 12, 24, 72 hours even after contact. Both are important. Now, relationship. The one group is the people having this sensitive skin allergic reactions. They often have more itching on the scalp. They often also have, and that's important to know, in the scalp area there's a huge density of so-called mast cells, immune cells, which can release a substance called histamine, which creates itch. And if there are microbiome, bacteria and mold, that's very important. It's yeast, a yeast called Pr Zuberbier, which can be on the scalp and then can irritate the skin, and then it gets itchy. So especially people with allergies need a good care for the hair and need to have products which do not dry out too much on the one hand. On the other hand, keep this yeast at bay so that it's not overacting.
So balance.
Balance is the right word, and that's actually what I use when I talk to patients. We need to have a balance in life, and don't overreact. You don't have to disinfect your scalp. Crap. But you need to have good modern products which keep the balance of the microbiome in the right way. So that's one thing. And the second thing is those who have contact allergies. Actually, it's important for everybody. Use substances which are not highly aggressive, which are not frequently causing contact allergic reactions. So the ingredients, we have this so-called inky list of ingredients, and it's very important to better understand these. But select ingredients for a good cosmetic company, select ingredients which have a low potency to create newly allergies, contact allergies. And I know you're here with the company Procter & Gamble.
Exactly.
And we are actually proud with ECARF, with the foundation, to collaborate, and I say collaborate, with a company who's got so many scientists. You've got more scientists than our whole university has.
Excellent, and thank you for the praise, much appreciated. I think that actually drives, the next question, which is, we talked a lot and we see a lot of consumers asking us about if I'm afraid of having allergy or if I currently have allergy, having fragrance-free products, is it a better recommendation? Or there's a lot of buzz around these fragrances, and I just want to hear from the expert.
Thank you. It's actually myths. I know there are hardliners saying allergy-friendly products need to be fragrance-free. No, that's crap. And actually, it's not good for quality of life. No, but let's look at it from a really scientific point of view. What is a fragrance? It's not even defined. We know that the nose can detect at low levels some few molecules already and then feel a smell. Everything in nature can smell. It's not necessarily a fragrance. Now, there are some real fragrances which have been inky named, and some of them have caused frequent allergies. That is experience from the past, and from that stems a kind of myth that fragrances are bad for allergies. It's really something which happened in the 90s when there was a wave of many companies using a lot of newly formulated chemical fragrances, and they caused allergies. There are two things to say about that. A, these substances are now known, and we know there are many fragrances which don't cause allergies at all. Second, those old fragrances, like isoeugenol is an example, it's a concentration question. Low concentrations will not cause allergies. They are below the detection limit for the immune system. And the detection limit for the immune system is much higher than that of the nose. The nose of humans is not as good as of dogs. We all know that. A dog can smell where someone run around the streets. We can't do that. But still, it's only a few molecules which we need to smell something. But that means you can use an inky named fragrance at a low level, which cannot cause allergies. Still, you can smell it. But now there's more to it. I want to tell you the whole story.
Tell me. I'm here.
If you got the time. If you got the time.
I do.
Now, smell is something very important in the evolution because it can give you good feelings also. Quality of life. I want quality of life in spite of allergies. But it can also have real medical support.
Benefits.
You know menthol.
Yes,
menthol,
of course.
It clears the airways. It's antibacterial. It clears the airways. Many of these fragrances, and especially also of natural fragrances, can be helpful. On the other hand, many of these natural compounds can be truly allergic. So you have to have the science, and that's why we love to work together. We are scientists, you're a scientist, and together we can get the best for our consumers.
Excellent, because indeed, there was a lot of debate on essential oils versus fragrance. So, love your clarifications, and thank you very much for that.
Yeah, baby, one word more. Many people say, "Hey, natural products. Well, then I'm safe."
Exactly.
Hey, that's stupid. Quite honest.
I will not use that word, but
no. I have to be honest. That is stupid because it's always, as soon as you say something in absolute ways, you're nearly always wrong. And the
love
reason
that
is,
we keep that quote.
and the reason really is evolution. You've been in contact with some essential oils all the time, and there's been much more time to have immune system regulations against these due to the fact. And actually, there are some which are phototoxic. For instance, if you have oil from oranges on the skin, you go into the sun, you get brown patches. You don't want that. So nature is not always good. It can be most harmful. The most dangerous toxins are in nature, not in chemistry.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Listen, it brings me to my final questions, which is really, and you mentioned it at the beginning, there's a lot of inky talk, right? So a lot of people just look at the inky and drive a conclusion whether this is good or bad. And that's why typically, right, we bring products to you so that you can test it, and hence the allergy-friendly seal. But what can you say about this? How can you reassure our consumer that it's not just about the inky?
Well, actually the inky, first of all, I think it's a good idea that consumers can read what's in there. If I have a contact allergy, which is already proven, I should try to use products where this ingredient is not there. Keeps you safer.
Yep.
Therefore, inky is a good idea. But inky also leads to a lot of, let's say, misinformation, fear, unnecessary problems caused because consumers think, hey, there's this in there and this could be dangerous. And they don't know. If you look at the inky, you don't know what's the concentration.
Exactly.
And there are also some journals, journalists who say as soon as something is in the inky, it's dangerous. That is not true because in all areas we have a concentration dependency. Let me make a very easy example, which is everyday life. Noise. If you have to sleep exactly next to a railway and a motorway on both sides, windows open, you will not fall asleep easily.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. Okay, that's concentration, noise. Now, is the motorway 2 kilometers away? You might hear a little bit of background sound, but it's no longer dangerous. And the same is for the inky products. Like let's take the isoeugenol. It's a known allergen. It's works as a fragrance, but it depends on the level. And there are levels of isoorganol which you can smell which are not possible, really not possible due to the number of molecules in there to activate the immune system.
Very clear. So in my own words, literally allergy-friendly products. The safety is linked to the concentration and the frequency that people are using it.
Yes.
Extremely clear. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
It's great that you've been here. Thank you.